Hi, Mr. Woods here again with our third lesson related to personal safety. This week we will be focusing on the touching rule. So, before we get this lesson started, it will be a great idea if you can get your parents or guardians or whoever takes care of you at home to sit in with you during this lesson, because we are going to be talking about something that could be potentially uncomfortable or awkward. So I want to make sure that your parents are with you while you are doing this lesson, okay? And maybe they can explain some of this in their own words that'll help you understand as well. So before we get started with that, let's do a recap or a refresher of the 3 ways to stay safe and what it means to be safe, okay? So if something is unsafe, it can be potentially dangerous and it could hurt somebody. All right. So remember that ask first rule. If you're ever unsure if something is safe or not, ask your grown-ups. Okay. Ask the adults at home, ask your guardians, ask someone that may know the answer to that. If you're ever unsure, ask first. And then those 3 big R's are recognize. Ask yourself this question: is it safe? And if it's not safe, what rule does it break? 2, report. So tell an adult. Report also can be asking for help. And then finally, refuse is the last big R and the last R in staying safe, which is to refuse. So say words that mean no. Say it like you mean it and say it with your chest. Okay? Now, the touching rule. This is what we're going to be talking about today, all right? And this is the part that may be a little uncomfortable, but we have to talk about it because Mr. Woods wants to make sure you're being safe and that all the people around you are safe as well. So Amelia and Raphael are at a swimming lesson. Their bathing suits cover their private body parts. These parts are private because they are not to be seen or touched by others. And the rule with that, or the touching rule, is a person should never touch your private body parts except to keep you healthy. Okay? Now, an example of that, it would be if you are going to the doctor and your doctors need to check you to make sure that you are safe and healthy. That is the one exception of where you should be able to, to be in a situation like that. If anybody else is attempting to touch your private body parts, that is breaking the touching rule. Okay. Now remember, the only reason why your private parts should be checked or touched is if to keep you healthy. Okay. Now that could mean also your parents will be checking you as well, just to make sure that you are safe. But if it feels weird or uncomfortable for you, then we would get into and it that would be considered as breaking the touching rule. Okay. Now, if it's somebody that you don't know that's trying to touch your private body parts, that's breaking the touching rule. Now, there's an unsafe touch and a safe touch. Okay. A safe touch would be a hug or a high five. Unsafe touches are not good touches, okay? So that'll be a touch where somebody's touching your private parts. That can mean your bottom as well, all right? And an unsafe touch, a touch makes you feel hurt, scared, or uncomfortable, all right? Those are the 3 big things to keep in mind if something is unsafe, an unsafe touch for you. Does it hurt? Does it make you feel scared? Or does it make you feel uncomfortable or weird, all right? These can be touches that are unwanted, even by people that love you or you love, okay? Now, this week, I want you to practice using a strong and respectful, assertive voice and say, no, don't touch me, and asking for help when the touching rule is being broken, okay? So again, let's go back. So the touching rule is a person should never touch your private body parts except to keep you healthy. Okay.